Hey, folks, welcome to another segment of Real Estate Rescue with Greg Ferrera. Hey, hope you're doing well. It is February, winter 2026, and the real estate market is rolling along. Wow. Hey, it's been a little while since we caught up. Thanks to all of you who get to watch the show. I always say, don't forget to like and subscribe. My bosses all tell me, remind you, please like and subscribe so we can continue to get more great content out to you. So today I do want to focus. We have a caller, and people ask a lot of questions. They'll ask on the emails, they'll ask in the notes, and I thought we'd have a caller on, somebody who we could relate to, some real content. Somebody's going through these situations, trying to make decisions. So I thought we'd bring him on. I have Frank from Idaho on, and I want to bring him on, and let's just kind of have a conversation. And many of you, I hope this will help to answer some questions, whether we should buy, whether we should sell moving forward here in 2026. Frank, are you there?
I am, Greg. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I am here, and I'm excited to be here.
Frank, thanks for calling in. I know that sometimes that can be a little scary, calling in on these shows of those of us that talk too much sometimes. But I wanted to be open, compassionate, and helping as many folks as we can here. As real estate's changed, Frank, as you know, trying to make a decision when we have a 2.5% interest rate, or we have a 4%, and then we're going to sell, and all of a sudden our interest rate's going to go to 6 or 6.5 or 7. It can be kind of scary. So I thought we'd have you had some questions. I thought we'd bring it up, share it with the audience, and maybe we could help some folks to make some decisions.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you. Again, like I mentioned, Greg. So my wife and I, we are thinking of selling our home, and we were really just wondering. We wanted your expert advice. Should we wait until the spring and summer? When the yard looks better outside. I mean, what would you recommend? Should we wait until the summertime? For that reason.
Frank, that's a great question. We get asked that all the time. Thank you. A lot of people are asking that. I'm sure people that are watching are saying, hey, what should we do? What's Greg's answers? What's Greg thinking after being in the business for 30 years, right? Frank, that's an interesting question. It has a couple of different dynamics to it. So the first one, I will share with you that normally in the winter, where we're at, leaves are not in the trees, right? If you look around, you would agree, Frank, it's probably not the prettiest time of year. Would you agree on that?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So yeah, it's not the prettiest. However, you'll also notice, Frank, that around the neighborhood, if you look as you're driving around town, you don't notice a lot of for sale signs. Is that true too?
A little bit, yeah.
So yeah, we don't have a lot of inventory. So based on the economics, if you'd be interested in what I'm going to say, getting top dollar, we talk about that on the show all the time. Sellers want top dollar. You want top dollar, right, Frank? You and your
Absolutely.
wife? Sure.
Yes.
I'm being kind of silly here, just having some fun. So sellers want top dollar. The best way to get that is minimize your competition. So if you want to capitalize and get top dollar, I'm going to share that right now, the next 30 to 60 days, Frank, could be ideal for you to get your house up on the market and get a great offer and capitalize on what we currently have in the winter, which is low inventory, less competition for you and your wife. Now, having said that, you're also going to have to find a place to live unless you already have one. So there would be, part two to this, Frank. If you have a place to go and you're not in a hurry to have to find another home because inventory is lower, on the buyer side, I will share, if you can wait a little while, more homes are going to come up as we get into spring and the first part of summer. You'll have more options, and economically it will drive prices down because there'll be more competition. Now, how drastically will it drive them down? It could level them out. We might be talking $10,000, $25,000 depending on the market and where you're at. Is this making any sense, Frank?
Absolutely. And actually, I never thought of it that way. That really, in order for us to get top dollar, we should probably sell now, because like you mentioned, there's less competition in the market. Rates are where they're at, and that now that you explained it like that, I actually think that my wife and I are talking about probably selling now, because this is where we're going to get top dollar. Now, I did have another question. We are obviously thinking about buying our next home. Should we wait until the rates drop to buy the next home, or what's your opinion on that?
So that's a great question also. We hear a lot about that. In my industry, we talk about rate buy downs, we talk about closing costs. A lot of these terms, Frank, I apologize a little bit. We just throw around because we're in the business. What does that mean to me, the home buyer or the home seller? Well, when we talk about rate buy downs, that's generally the sellers contributing a certain amount of money out of the sale of their home to help the buyer buy down their interest rate on their loan. And that then transfers over to you as a buyer, lowering your monthly payments, which is very exciting as long as the seller is willing to do that. Closing costs, same thing. Across the board, let's say closing costs, those are all the costs involved in purchasing a home that don't exactly they don't affect your purchase price. It's title, escrow, all those ancillary fees run about 2 to 3% of your sales price. So when we talk about closing costs, what we're talking about, Frank, is having the seller credit you a percentage of your closing costs. Now, the seller has to be willing to do that, first of all, and you have to be in a situation where you can do it with your purchase, with your loan situation. So part of what I'm sharing with you is it now be a good time to sell. Yes, economically and historically, because we have low competition. As a buyer, here's your challenge, right? Are the interest rates going to drop a tremendous amount come this summer, this spring, this fall? I don't think so. I think they're going to come down a little bit. But Frank, if you look at the difference in your mortgage payments, let's say it's 6.25 and 5.75, it's not a bunch. And if you can buy it down a whole point, let's say you can do a temporary buy down of 1 point. I believe our lender said the other day, if she's at a $400,000 loan, a point buy down would be about $300 a month. That's pretty substantial, but that was a seller buying the rate down temporarily. Are you with me on that, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I guess what I'm hearing now, now that you mentioned that, is, my wife and I have been talking, and we really don't want to have to get into a rental situation for 6 months or 9 months. We're willing to do that, but now that you've let us know a little bit about these seller concessions, I think we actually would be in a good position to just buy now, and not have to worry about rates going down or anything like that. If there's low competition, sellers should be wanting to work with us to to sell, to help us get into a home now. So actually, now that I think about that, the way that you explained it, it kind of it works out great for us to want to sell now and just get right into a new home. Because if we can get a rate down by half a point or a point, I mean, that's really all my wife and I have talked about. We were going to wait till we saw half a point, but if the seller's able to do that and get us that lower interest rate, we'd much rather buy now. So
So,
that makes a lot of sense that we explained it.
Frank, one question, because some people are going to be asking and they're thinking this as we're talking and they're listening. How long have you and your wife been in your current home?
So we actually we bought during COVID,
Okay.
and we did get a lower rate. That's one of the reasons that we didn't want to move, but our grandkids are starting to move. They're getting ready to get out of high school and wanting to move and travel the world, and we just don't want to be far away from them. So that's prompted us to move.
That transitional term causing people to move around the country, Frank, grandkids. Yes, they cause trouble, don't they? Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, so the reason I
gotta
asked,
gotta stay with them.
I'm with you. The reason I asked is if you were fortunate enough to purchase your home in the beginning of COVID before prices went through the roof and or prior to COVID, you have some equity today. So usually substantial equity, depending on where you're at, it could be in the six figures and pretty substantial. So the reason I bring that up is you have opportunities, but before you get your house on the market, make sure, Curtis, you and your wife are together on what it is you'd want to go purchase and that those homes are out there available in some form or fashion and it would be tolerable for you to move forward because you're going to have great equity from what I'm hearing, but that equity for the most part will be used in your purchasing of your next home that will be considerably more expensive than it would have been, say, 5 years ago. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So,
And when you put it that way, I mean, I guess that's just something we just never really thought of before. When you put it that way, it really makes a lot of sense for us to just do it now. So how if I want to get started, how do I contact you, Greg? I kind of
well,
trust your opinion,
yeah,
but
sure.
can you help us out with all this?
You can always reach me at realestaterescueidaho.com. That's our website. Been around for years and years. Real easy, realestaterescueidaho.com. Or you can call me. Frank, I'm always, I work all the time, 30 years, right? There's really no days off in this business. You can call me at 208-559-0590. Again, that's 208-559-0590. Always happy to help. Consultations are free. And Curtis, I've been doing this a long time, and I always have this conversation with sellers, just like I was sharing with you. When we sell your home, where are you going to go, right? Because a lot of people have different options. Some are going to live in an RV. Some are going to move in with the kids. Some are going to live on the street, and some are going to vacation, and some have other homes, other options. So all those things are really important to consider, especially when you're thinking about selling, because once you're in escrow, those buyers don't necessarily want to just change their mind back out because you don't have a place to live. So you want to make sure that you get all your ducks in a row, if you will, so you can make this whole transition successful. And as I always say, Frank, make it enjoyable, be excited, because moving's a big deal, especially when family's involved, and especially if you're moving, across state lines and moving to other areas and regions of the country.
You're absolutely right. Well, but thank you, Greg, for explaining all that to me. And I can't thank you enough. That we're going to give you a call shortly, and I think this is life changing for us. My wife will be very happy because we're ready to just get this moving. And I couldn't have done it without you explaining everything to me. I really can't thank you enough, and you'll be hearing from me.
I appreciate it, buddy. You let her know I'm always happy to sit down with you guys. Consultations, I always say they're really expensive. Frank, they're free. I'm happy to meet with you. You let me know. And I want to say thanks for taking time to call in, because that can be kind of scary as the rest of the world's listening to you chatting on the phone. So thank you, sir, for taking the time to call in.
Thank you, Greg. I
You bet.
appreciate your time as well.
You betcha. You take care.
We'll talk with you soon.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this up. It's another segment of Greg Ferrera's Real Estate Rescue. Hope you enjoyed that. We have a caller, and we wanted to go through some of the questions that are going through people's minds. What are they thinking about, right? As we're working through winter, coming into spring. Should I sell? Should I wait? Should I buy? Should I wait? A lot of things are involved. So, as always, I can help you, Real Estate Rescue, Idaho.com. But thanks again for joining us. Don't forget, click on that like and subscribe button for more great information, and we'll be in touch with you. We'll be back again very soon. Until then, take care and be safe out there.